Okay, so to start the gnocchi, first I've just boiled 7 medium-sized potatoes for around half an hour to 40 minutes. And after they're boiled and they're fork tender, you're just gonna want to take them out of the pot, cool them down with a bit of water, and then start peeling them. Because later we're gonna be ricing them, so it can become more of a dough. Okay, so now I've peeled all the potatoes, and I have a potato ricer here, but if you don't have one, you could easily just bash the potato. So the point is you need to get it so where you can make it into a dough later with flour and egg. So I'm just gonna rice all the potatoes. Okay, so I've riced all the potato, and now what I'm gonna do is slowly add 2 cups of flour. And I'm gonna add about 3/4 of a cup. Then I'm just gonna mix it around. If you want your end product to be very fluffy and light, you're gonna wanna barely knead it just so that it comes together. But if you like more of a chewy gnocchi, then you're gonna wanna knead it like a pizza dough so that it all comes together tightly. So now I've added about 1 cup of flour. Now I'm gonna add 2 eggs to this mixture. You're gonna wanna slowly add it to the potato mixture. And if it gets too sticky, you can add some of the remaining flour. You're just gonna wanna knead this until we've combined 2 cups of flour and the rest of the egg. Okay, so I've kneaded my dough. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna cut it first into 4 pieces. Then another 4th. And flour the sticky insides. Otherwise it'll get really hard to work with. And then finally, you're gonna want to start rolling it out. So we're just gonna roll each one of these out, and then we're gonna start cutting. And that will be our pasta. Okay, so now I've rolled them into a little less than 1 inch thick rolls. And now I'm just going to cut them into bite-sized pieces. Like this big. Alright, now to start making the sauce, it's like a rigatoni vodka sauce. We're just gonna start by adding some olive oil. I have some chopped up bacon, or you can use pancetta, and I'm just gonna start frying it in a large pan. So just add a little bit of olive oil just to coat the bottom of the pan, move it around, put the heat on, and just make sure it heats up, and then we're gonna start frying the bacon. And now I'm going to take all of this bacon. I use about 6 or 7 strips, I would say. You can use more or less depending on how you like it. But I'm just gonna add it all and start frying that up first. As soon as that's fried, I'm gonna put in a little bit of garlic and a chopped onion. I'll say 6 cloves of garlic and 1 chopped onion to fry up alongside this. Alright, so now what I'm gonna do, I have about 5 or 6 cloves of chopped garlic here. I'm gonna put that in, as well as 1 roughly chopped onion. And then we're just gonna keep tossing it around and mixing it and cooking it until the onions become translucent. So now I'm gonna add 1 tin of crushed tomatoes. I'm gonna add some salt, pepper, and paprika, and then we're just gonna let it cook off. Add it. This is gonna give the sauce a lot of volume. I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons of paprika, Some pepper. I wouldn't add too much because you can always add more pepper later. Add a good amount of salt. And then you're just going to want to mix it up. Make sure it all incorporates. And then cover it and leave it for 6 or 7 minutes or until the sauce is cooked. You'll see the canned tomato getting a little bit brown on some pieces, and you'll know that then it's cooked. Okay, so now it's been going for about 5 to 6 minutes. What I'm gonna do is add 2 cups of heavy whipping cream. If you don't have heavy whipping cream, you can just use heavy cream. And if you don't have that, you can use half and half. 2, obviously this is a little less thick, but it's okay. And it works for the sauce. So now, just gonna mix it up and you'll see it start to get that orange color. Gonna put the heat back on a medium. You can see it all incorporate there. And then at the end, you just want to take some torn basil leaves. You just put them all in. I wouldn't put the stems, but make sure you get all the leaves off. The sauce for the gnocchi is done. I filled a pot with some boiling water, and now I'm just going to drop these in one by one. They should sink to the bottom, as you can see here. Make sure you spread them apart. Put them in one by one. I would put 10 or 12 at once. I'm gonna go grab some more. And then you'll know they're cooked when they start floating to the top of the water. All right, so some of them have started to rise to the top of the water and start floating. So I'm gonna take them out. They'll obviously be a lot less sticky. Okay, so they've started floating to the top. Obviously they're a lot less sticky. And so I'm just gonna use a slotted spoon to put them in my bowl as they come to the top. Okay, so we have the boiled gnocchi over here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna fry it so that the outside becomes crispy, or at least more firm, and it has a better texture. So we're gonna put some butter in. I'll just put, this is like a teaspoon of butter, and then you can just mix them around until you can see the outside is just a little bit cooked, so you get that nice fried texture and crispy outside. Okay, as you can see, the gnocchi have been fried. They're a little bit golden brown and there's a slight crust, which is exactly what you want for that texture. So I'm gonna put a bunch of these in here. I'll put about that many. And then I'll add the sauce on top. Just layer it on top like that. Put a good amount. Just like that. I will add some basil on top, and finally I'm gonna grate some parmesan. And that's it.